profile.
I language learning journey started from Jawaharlal Nehru University. I studied Chinese. I started learning Chinese from 2013, and I did my bachelor's from Jawaharlal Nehru University. And while I was studying a master's, I got a scholarship to study in China. So I went to a university in Beijing called Beijing Language and Culture University. So this is one of the best universities. I would recommend anyone to go there and study. We call it a mini United Nation because you will have students from all around the world. Because I was teaching English in China when I was staying there as a student, I was teaching one kid, one of my professor, they introduced me to one of the kid. That kid was 11-year-old. So every Saturday I used to go there and teach that kid for 2 hours. And I would say that was a very good learning experience for me too. Why? Because
Hey Ravi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good as well. Thank you so much for joining me on this podcast series and accepting my
Mhm.
invitation. I know that you have mastered Chinese language and now you
Mhm.
are in Russia. I'm sure you must be having a lot of experiences, a lot of things to share with the people, and people will be looking forward to this podcast, I'm sure.
Thank you for inviting me to this. I really wanted to share. I wanted to be here and share my story. So, if you want, we can begin with my story about
Absolutely.
learning Chinese language, like how and why and what are the career opportunities one will have after learning Chinese.
Absolutely, Gareth. Absolutely. So,
Mm.
before we begin with that, I would really like to, to hear a little bit about you in brief, so that people will
Mhm.
have a an idea about your
Okay. Yeah,
journey
sure.
and
So,
profile.
I language learning journey started from Jawaharlal Nehru University. I studied Chinese. I started learning Chinese from 2013, and I did my bachelor's from Jawaharlal Nehru University. And while I was studying a master's, I got a scholarship to study in China. So
Hmm.
I went to a university in Beijing called Beijing Language and Culture University. So this university is very popular among foreigners to learn Chinese. And most of the textbook which you will have regarding Chinese language, they are from the uh, Beijing Language University Press. So this is one of the best universities. I would recommend anyone to go there and study. We call
Hmm.
it a mini United Nation because you will have students from all around the world. Going to China to study for 1 year, that was South Asian scholarship from Confucius Institute. One good thing about Chinese language is the Chinese government is trying to encourage foreigners learn this language a lot. So
Hmm.
once you start learning at every level, you have different kind of scholarship starting from 1 week kind of cultural immersion program, and
Hmm.
some they even give you scholarships to study till PhD. So
Wow.
I was there for 1 year. So then I came back to India. I continued my masters, and after then it was already 2019, the year in the end when we had COVID. So that time I was working with a Chinese company, this mobile app company. They are fifth largest IT company in China. So I was
Hmm.
working with their fintech app, and
Okay.
due to some COVID related issues and the relations between India and China got little difficult, like FDI related issues. I was without a job for 6 months. Then I worked with Amazon, and my previous company was mobile screen, mobile TV, all kind of screen. They are like the largest semiconductor company in China, BOE. Like most of the people who are doing related to hardware, they know this company very well because it's a B2B, not they
Understood.
don't have any complete product in the market.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Understood. So, so just wanted to get an idea if like somebody in India wants to
Hmm.
complete his or her studies from China. So
Hmm.
how much amount of but the person needs to spend or maybe save to complete the studies from there, and what is an estimate budget?
So, if you talk about undergraduate programs, a lot
Yeah.
of Indian students they go to China to study medicine. So for
Hmm.
them, like why a lot of students from India, they're going to countries like China, Russia to study medicine because the university fees are not so high and there are like enough seats. Someone like I have just an estimate like to complete their medicine from China, they spend around 20 to 30 lakhs. So if you're going for a specific course, like medicine is a kind of very expensive course. In India,
Hmm.
we spend like in private universities like more than 80 lakhs or even 1 CR, something like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
So for the parents, like 5 year course for 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs is something good. But other than that, I have not seen much students going from India to do a complete undergraduate program from China. The reason like this degree is not recognized in Indian universities. This is what I have heard. I have
Yes.
not dived deep into it.
Hmm.
So that
Hmm.
is coming into one of the hindrance. Like most of the people, they don't want to go to China to complete like do complete undergraduate program. But apart from that, if you do some research like about the Chinese universities, they are in the top ranking, top 100. There are some
Hmm.
good Chinese universities there. So some students they're going for study engineering from other nations like Bangladesh. I have seen there are a lot of students from Bangladesh and Nepal doing these kind of courses there.
Hmm.
Apart
Hmm.
from that, like most of the students they're going for doing MBA. For these courses, you don't get a scholarship. Mostly the
Right.
scholarship is given for when you go into humanities or some cultural related things. For
Okay.
language learning, they have scholarship, and this is like enough to have. They have good dormitories, and the scholarship on which I was there, that was that time around 2,500 RMB per month, which is coming across to around 30,000 rupees a month. Being a
Hmm.
student, when you have like free course and you have like free hostel accommodation is there
Yeah.
and you're getting 30,000, books are provided by the university, you don't need to buy it. So 30,000 is enough to live in a city like Beijing. So I was on that scholarship. Other than that, they can check on, there's a website called CSC, and you can check for the other scholarship there and the programs. So they have a
Okay.
lot of varieties of programs, and universities are really world standard. And whoever has been to China, because once I was teaching Chinese to those students who were going to China to study medicine. That was one of my first full batch teaching Chinese experience. And these students, once you land in China, you find that everything is in Chinese. Your Google is not
Hmm.
working. Google Translate is not working.
Yeah.
Um, the social media apps, Facebook are banned there. YouTube is not working. So that's a completely new world for you. So before going to China, even if you want to go to travel there, you need to
Hmm.
have a basic understanding like what kind of apps are there, what kind of like the whole system is different.
Correct.
And most of the foreigners who go to China, they must know how to use those local apps. Like Google
Hmm.
Map is not working. How will you do things there?
Navigate. Yeah.
You navigate around. So my job was to train these 20 students for their life in China. So I was having like 5 hours a day class with them. My job was to train them in a basic Chinese. So basic Chinese, like every language has the exams based on that, which you get certificates.
Yeah.
So in Chinese, they have HSK, Hanyu Shui Ping Kaoshi. So basically, this is a language test which people take to check their language level. So it starts from one and it goes to six. So for one, you learn the basic like good morning, good afternoon, how are you? What is the
Hmm.
price of this? Where are you from? Simple
Yeah.
sentences, basic phrases. And that is what we call survival Chinese. That is for people who are planning to study in China. They should be knowing it because in China, you cannot survive without knowing these basic phrases. Your life will be difficult. Of course, we have translation apps and everything. So yeah, that's one of the biggest challenge, and that's also interesting that when you are in China, the completely new world is there. Your Facebook, Instagram is not there. They have like, I don't know if you have heard about apps like Weibo, Bilibili, Yoku. No, so
No.
that these apps are TikTok, one of the app which got really popular in India, and it's very popular globally. They also, we all know that's a Chinese app.
Yes.
So, and in China, they call it Douyin. Like one beautiful thing about Chinese languages, or interesting thing about Chinese languages, like my name is Ravi Ranjan, but in Chinese, they give you a different name, like
Ah,
Xin Xin
okay.
Yang. Like an English speaker, they will say uh, the capital of China as Beijing, but
Yeah.
when they speak it, they call it Beijing. So language is so different from English and everything.
Hmm.
You even like most of the people, they suggest you to have a Chinese name like Ravi Ranjan and Xin Yang. That is based on my meaning of my name. Like Ravi means
Ah.
sun, and in Yang, the Chinese name which I have, Yang means sun too. So that's based on that. Like recently, I was checking one thing, like India in ancient time. Like we all know about Buddhism. Like you may have heard about. Do you know like what in China Buddhism is very popular, right?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So they have like a very popular book in which they call this is Xiyouji, Journey to the West. When the Chinese monk they traveled all the way through Himalayan Silk Trade route, and they came to Bihar to study Buddhism.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if you have been to Bihar in Gaya or not. You will find a
Hmm.
Chinese temple, like the monks from China, they're staying there. Buddhism is very popular in these countries.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
during the time of Buddhism, they called India as Tianzhu. So that means heaven. Tian means heaven. So the
Hmm.
god where the god lives, that's the place. So uh, what I would say, the Chinese language, like when they name people or things, they also consider like what is the meaning. They try to correlate with them
Hmm.
like Parth. I guess your name is very much like Arjun. Krishna was
Yes.
telling to Arjun Parth, right? So
Yes.
there is a back historical thing. So when you learn language, you get to know about these things, these details, and that will excite you. That's one of
Hmm.
the reason I try to learn languages because every country and every civilization have a very good story to tell, right?
Absolutely. And this is so really, really very interesting. I'm really amazed by, because I am into mainly with the French language. So a French language involves the history of the French language or like like the French Revolution. All these things are
Mhm.
connected. But
Yeah.
yeah, like when I'm hearing from you from about the Chinese language and about the like how the Buddhism is connected and how it is connected with everything else that you
Hmm.
mentioned and the way they give names based on the meanings of our names.
Hmm.
It's really interesting. Really interesting.
Like one thing which I would like to, you will correlate it better. Like in Hindi, we call tum aap. In French, I
Yeah.
listened to your podcast and you were talking about tu and vous. Tu is like tum,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
in Chinese language also, we have something like ni. Ni means you. And then you put like a heart below the ni, like
Mm-hmm.
and that becomes nin. Nin means up. So
Ah.
in Chinese language also that's there. And one thing I often I don't know in French language if you have different word for grandparents. Like in Hindi we have dada, dadi, nana, nani, chacha,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
chachi, mama, mami.
Yes.
So we have a special word for every relation. In the same way, a language is like a mirror of that society. This is what I would say. So Chinese society is very much like our society, like Indian society, because there the grandmother, like they have a different word, like nai nai for dadi, waipo for nani. So they have different words, cho cho, shu shu,
Mm.
like
Mm-hmm.
cha-cha and mama. So that's the beauty. Like when you start learning language, then you understand what are the similarities, like how this
Mm.
society pays attention to the social relations. Like in India, being an Indian, we know like how it is important to take care of our relatives whenever it's a
Yes.
marriage or something, whatever occasion it is. We
Mm.
pay. We are very much like taking care of our family and social relations. Same goes for China. Like Chinese
Yeah.
society is very much like ours. And because I was teaching English in China when I was staying there as a student, I was teaching one kid, like one of my professor, they introduced me to one of the kid. That kid was 11-year old. So every Saturday, I used to go there and teach that kid for 2 hours. And I would say that was a very good learning experience for me too. Why? Because I was able to see how the Chinese family, because I was able to observe when I was
Mm.
there teaching, like how the
Yes.
grandmother lived with the kid and how the grandmother is taking care of the kid. And in India, like teaching job is considered to be one of the most uh, modest profession. Like
Yeah.
we it's teachers are like gods, like they are
Yeah.
pujaniya. This is what we call it, so respected here.
Correct.
In the same way, in Chinese culture and society, I realized whenever I was going to teach in that kid's place, they were like being very respectful. Like in Hindi, we say, Master Sahab aa gaye, Sir ji aa gaye, Sir ko hai. Like you take care of good, like you pay respect. And
Hmm.
that was very obvious. So
Amazing.
this is very similar, and I really like this kind of like these things will not come out in media, or we don't get to know unless and until we go to that society. And even in you live in China, if you don't go into the family, if you
Hmm.
don't participate, you will not able to observe these small things and find similarities between our culture and their culture.
Actually, you have been there, you have stayed with them, you have been in there
Mhm.
in that environment. So I'm sure you have that experience very lively within you, and
Mhm.
I'm sure you will be like the when the person is actually living in that environment, then the person actually observes and actually understands that
Yeah.
culture better. As I'm just listening from your side, I wouldn't be having the same experience as you,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm actually looking forward to visit China someday, definitely. And
Learn language a little bit, and then I'll tell you there are two types of people who visit China. One who don't know anything in Chinese, and another one who master few words in Chinese. I'll tell you why my experience in China was so good is because I studied 4 years in India, and by the time I have studied here, I have already mastered how to speak and how to talk with them. But
mm,
real benefit of learning language, I realized, is when I was in China. Whenever I started speaking simple words, the people were like, they treat you like a star, like when you speak their language. So that's something like really good about them. As soon as I say hello, that's nihao. If you know,
yeah,
you say
yeah,
nihao and few words, the Chinese will say, oh my god, you speak Chinese, oh my god, you're awesome. They're excited. I don't know, like Indians also get excited when they hear a foreigner speaking in Hindi. Like there's a Instagram channel, and there's one guy from America. He's speaking in Bihari, like Kir Babua. I don't know if you have seen that or not. He's speaking
mm,
Bhojpuri, really good, and he's quite
uh,
popular. So
okay,
when you speak the language, it helps you connect with the people. That's one of the
absolutely, that's very
most
true.
important benefit which you get.
Especially when you get the cross-border connections, languages will enable the cross-border connections for you. I mean,
Yes. Yes.
I've never thought that I will be having so many connections from different countries now.
Mm-hmm.
But now, at this age, I'm right now, I'm just 26 right now. When I look around myself, like elders, professionals, I see that people are not very much open to make new connections apart from their own circle. Like just their circle is very limited, I would say. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel that I'm really lucky to be in this field of languages, that with the help of this language, I am having cross-border connections now in more than 10 countries. I have my friends, and
Mm-hmm.
like the kind of audience I'm having from different
Mm-hmm.
countries, and they
Yeah.
know about me, they know about French and You, the platform that I'm running. So that
Mm-hmm.
really gives me, a kind of satisfaction. And yes, I can imagine that, I can actually think about how beautiful other countries and the cultures are apart from just India. And I'm really
Mm-hmm.
looking forward to, to experience all of this very soon.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
your journey is like really, really, interesting, to be very honest.
So through your channel, I would like to like why I wanted to join. Like you said, really good thing about like what you are doing, and I think learning new language, it connects people more. We
Yes.
need this world, like these days we have a lot of global crisis coming all around the world. People to people interaction, when you know their language, there will be less problem, I'm sure. Like when people will
Yes.
know each other's language, like French, you will know French, Spanish, German, you will speak Chinese, Japanese, Korean, or some
Yeah.
Chinese, Japanese will be speaking Hindi. The relations will
Hmm.
get better for the country, like
Absolutely.
people to people. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
this
Very
world will
true.
be a better place. Like we have differences. Of course, we are different, but why not enjoy the differences? Like know about their culture and then try a different food. Of course, our food is the best. This is my opinion. Like
Hmm.
biryani is the best, but why not try something else? Like some fried rice from other world, some dosa masala from other places. Every place has something nice. Like
Very true.
talking about the food, I would suggest like most of the Indians. I don't know if you are vegetarian or not, The other thing in China, like people find it difficult, is food when you start living in a different country. And it takes some time for realize what you like, what you don't like, and what you can
Hmm.
eat, what you can't eat. So few things, like just a heads up, if you're planning to go to China, uh, most of the restaurants, like in India, we have separate dishes. Like one is
Yeah.
meat and vegetarian. Vegetarians have little difficult time, especially when they don't speak the language. Like if you speak the
Hmm.
language, you can tell them don't put meat in this, and you can prepare. Like of course, one of my colleague was in China. He works in a Indian company, and they were in a Canton fair. If you have heard about this fair, like we all know, China is the manufacturing hub. Like they
Yeah.
are supplying everywhere. So there's a big trade fair in Canton. So we call it in Guangzhou, that is there. And he was there for some robotics or something like that. So
Hmm.
he's vegetarian. And he was often calling me and letting me know, like, please tell this person to prepare without any meat, not even egg. So that is one of the challenge, because in India you will always find food some pure veg restaurant. That
Yeah.
concept is not there. I think it goes same in French also. In
Yes,
France
very
also, like
true.
you will not find like a pure veg restaurant.
See, I think basic knowledge should be there. Person
Yeah,
should be aware about basic expressions, basic, things to
yeah,
deal with. Because in a new country, you will meet a lot of local people, a lot of people who are, like, for example, somebody who is who is driving a taxi, or maybe somebody who is like maybe a waiter. You will be dealing with
mhm,
with these
yeah,
people very often. So if you will not be aware about these basic terminologies,
yeah,
language in the language, like, for
yeah,
example, please, can you please drop me there, what is the price,
yeah,
just a basic conversation, very basic, like
hmm,
train ticket, or maybe, going for a taxi, maybe finding something, maybe talking to a stranger to ask for a direction to go somewhere.
hmm,
These things are
hmm,
very much required, I would say, to anyone who is
yeah,
going to a new country. Correct.
yeah. Survival, because these like we think English is everywhere, but
Yeah.
in countries like, I've never been to France. I don't know if you have been there or not, but
No,
I've
not
heard
yet.
that most of the people, they speak French there. They prefer to speak French. In Russia, uh, it's they don't know, like most of them prefer to speak in Russian. So that is when you get into, like, I am in survival Russian mode these days. Whenever I go outside to buy, you know some vegetables. The beauty of Russian language is, like, doctor is like brach, but like lawyer is advocate. So advocate is
Hmm.
similar. So anyone who knows English, they know it. So one day I went to the, like, this is very interesting. I went to buy tomatoes, and I wanted to buy tomatoes, and I was trying to not look into dictionary or translate. So I was looking, and the guy in the shop, he said, like, what you are looking for? I said, tomato, tomato. I thought he will understand. Then he said, what is tomato? He thought tomato ketchup. So pomidar, this is what they call it, like tomato. So when you
Yeah.
go buy vegetables, and when you do these things, you remember words faster. Like yesterday, in
Hmm.
when I saw your French podcast, in that they were talking about imagination. Like when
Yeah.
you learn a new word, you imagine. Like this is like tomato. Tomato looks like this. So
Yeah.
when you say that word, you connect and visualize it. Like that's very
Very
important.
true.
So what I say, when you go to that country, you learn it faster. Like
Hmm.
coming back to my story to going to China, like in 1 year, I s- I improved my Chinese much better than what I have spent in India 4 years. Like in 1 year, because every day, wherever I go, I was hearing Chinese 24 hours. In India, it was like during the class or when I was doing homework. That's it. That's like around 6 hours a day. But in
Correct.
China, when I was there, everywhere is Chinese. So
Hmm.
I improved really good. Like, and I started to forget to it too. Like after that, like once I started with Amazon, working with Amazon, most of the Chinese employees there, they're really good at English. So I was not using it often. I worked in India most of the time. When I moved to this new company, BOE is a Chinese company. I was often, like once in a week or twice, I was communicating with my colleagues in China. At least, like there's a 1 hour
Hmm.
meeting or 2 hours meeting, and they
Yeah.
prefer to talk in Chinese. So when you don't practice it, in Hindi we call it jung lag jata hai. Like, rakha rakha. If you
Very
don't
true.
use it every day, no matter how many languages you have learned, I have learned Arabic and Spanish too, but
Hmm.
I do not speak. I just know like little bit of that,
Basic
like
part.
whatever I have learned, basic points I have remembered, but most of the things is like gone. I forgot
Hmm.
it. Spanish, I learned it because of the music. Spanish music. I find it really like these days.
Yes.
There were some songs, right? Despacito. These songs are
Yes.
very melodious, and we really like it.
Yes.
So I took a optional course in Spanish, and I completed 2 years, like 4 semester course in Spanish. But I never used it. So language is, if you don't talk, if you don't use it, you will forget it. It's
You
like
will forget it.
building muscles. If you stop
Hmm.
doing workout, you will lose your
Yes.
muscles.
Very true.
That's
Very
it.
true. You're right.